With Excel's COUNTIFS function, you can count the number of cells that meet several criteria. By doing this, you can exclude cells that don't meet all the criteria, since only cells that satisfy all are counted. With COUNTIFS, we need at least two arguments. The criteria range, that's the range to be evaluated, and criteria 1, that's the condition that cells within that range will have to meet in order to be counted. Of course, we could just have one criteria range and criteria pair, and then COUNTIFS would accomplish the same thing that COUNTIF does, but with COUNTIFS, we can have up to 127 pairs, which means 127 criteria. So here's the basic application. Let's say we'll use two range and criteria pairs for this demo. We want to find out how many cell phone sales were made by reps from the South region. So we just start by typing COUNTIFS, open parenthesis, and the first thing we want to consider is the region. So all the cells all the way down here. So I just did Control, Shift, and down arrow to select all the way to the end of the data set. And that's our range. And the criteria we'll want them to meet is that they should be in the South region. Since this is a text value, we enclose that within double quotes. And so that's our first criteria and range pair. But we want to know how many cell phone sales were made. So that's going to be the second criteria that we want to look for. Here's the range that we'll want to search, our product sold, and we're looking for cell phone. Of course, it has to be spelled exactly in the same way that we expect to see it within that range. Close parentheses here, and we have the number 3. So we're looking for cell phone sales from the South team, and that's 1, 2, 3. Now in this example, we decided to use the explicit hard-coded text values as part of the formula. But it's usually better to use a cell reference so that we don't interfere with the formula if we want to change our criteria. So here's how that's done. And now we just build the same formula by going to the region, but selecting our criteria from an input cell. We don't use double quotes when we're using cell references for our criteria. And of course, for the product sale, we'll want to search in column D, and our criteria will be here in F3. Close parentheses, and we have the same result. Now this is great because of course we can go here and change our criteria pretty easily without having to mess with the formula. We can also use greater than and less than logical operators to count values that fall within or outside of a certain range. If we use cell references, only the logical operator should be wrapped in double quotes. So let's say we're looking again for the South region, but we're looking for sales that are over $400. So we jump right in to our output cell by using our COUNTIFS formula. And we go to the region, and we're looking for South sales, so here. But now for the invoice amount, we're going to use a logical operator. And we want sales that are greater than the value that's in cell H3. For this, we need to include the logical operator within double quotes, but then use the ampersand to join that to the value that's in H3. Close parenthesis, and there were 2 sales by the South team that met that criteria. And that's this one and this one. Now if we didn't want to use cell references, but we wanted to hard code those values in, then as usual we'd type our text within double quotes, select the range for range number 2, but for the criteria, because the numeric values will be entered here, we have the choice. We can either type greater than 400, all within double quotes, close parenthesis, and we'd get the right answer, or we could do it the way we did before. Close the double quotes after the greater than, type ampersand, and close parenthesis. And that works great too. A common problem when looking to summarize data is that sometimes the data we want to count is similar, but not identical. Like maybe we want to count the number of courses in the 100 series that are being held in Building 3. Now we can't just use the number 100 as a criteria because the course codes are unique. The solution is to use wildcards. And yes, COUNTIFS does support wildcards to represent non-identical characters in our search criteria. So let's see how that's applied. We want to search within this range for courses that have the 100 series. Now we start with our double quotes, and the most appropriate wildcard to use here is the asterisk. The asterisk represents any number of characters or even no character if we're not sure that a character exists in that position. So we start with an asterisk, the number 1, and we expect exactly 2 characters after the number 1, so we use question marks to represent each unknown character. Close with our double quotes, and that ends our first criteria and range pair. We're looking for courses from the 100 series that are being held in building number 3. So this is the range that we'll search for, and we're looking for the number 3. Since this is a numeric value, we don't have to include these in double quotes. Close parenthesis here, and there are 3 100 series courses being held in building 3. Let's see if that's true. Here's 1, here's the 2nd, and here's the 3rd. So that's how wildcard searches work with our COUNTIFS function. Now here's a little point to note. The ranges within COUNTIFS formulas don't have to be adjacent or even contiguous. They can begin and end in different rows and columns. They can be on different worksheets or even in another workbook. But the most important thing to remember is that the ranges must all have the same number of rows and columns. They must be of the same dimension. Otherwise, you'll get a value error. Look at this example. So we have the course codes, the faculties they belong to, and the building numbers where they'll be held from columns A to C, and we have those same course codes in column G with the names of the lecturers in column H. They start and end in different rows, but they're the same dimension. They're both 17 rows long. So maybe this lecturer wants to find out how many of his courses will be held in building number 2. So here's the formula we'd write to get that answer. The criteria range to search for lecturers' names would be here. And of course, we're looking for the value in this cell. And the building numbers are found here. And we'll look for the value in this cell. Let's see if it works. Close parentheses and enter. Troy Johnson has 2 courses being held in building number 2. Now, the simple way Excel does this is by looking at each range for its respective criterion. And if the corresponding position in each range satisfies that range's criteria, that row is counted as 1. So the first criteria pair is met within row 4. In row 4 of the second range, the criteria pair, number 2, is also met. So this is counted as 1. The same thing happens here. This is the 13th row. The first criteria is met. And in the 13th row of the second range, the criteria pair, number 2, is also met. This is counted as the second match. Trying to accomplish something like this before COUNTIFS wasn't easy. So this is a really cool function. Tell us what you think about the COUNTIFS function in the comments, and visit GoSkills.com for more tips.
Ready to learn more about Microsoft Excel? Then check out the full course on GoSkills.com. Click the link in the description.